Hey, welcome everyone to the SoCal Car Scene Podcast, the exclusive place for coverage of car culture in Southern California and the personalities that drive it. I'm your host, Dean Marash. Joining us today is car influencer, marketing guru, car fabricator, and event organizer, Ken Johnson. But before we get started, I need to let you know that this podcast is brought to you by our good friends at CTEK and Wicked Automotive Detailing. Please make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, The SoCal Car Scene, so that you never miss an episode. Hey, let me take a few minutes and introduce you to a really cool guest, our really cool guest, Ken Johnson. Ken is a big-time social media influencer and motivator in the car scene. One of his Instagram pages, Classics Daily, has 1.7 million followers, the biggest classic car page on Instagram, to my knowledge. He leverages his social media influence to launch and manage car shows, other events, and brands. He's one of the key influencers and partners behind one of the biggest monthly cruises in the country, if not the biggest, the Quarantine Cruise, right here in sunny SoCal, Orange County, that has over 2,000 cars participate every time they light that thing up. He's currently building a supercharged, I think it's 1,000 horsepower 71 Nova, boosted Nova, and he's taken it's taken on a life of its own, and he's never even revealed the damn thing. He's also the owner of Muscle Kings, a lifestyle brand complete with events, social media, concerts, and merch. He also owns Social Lab Media that specializes in Facebook, Instagram, and Google marketing. I'm sure I missed a bunch of stuff and things that Ken's involved in, but I'm guessing Ken never sleeps. So with that, Ken, hey, welcome to the SoCal Car Scene, man.
Man, I owe you probably $5,000 for that pump up, man. That was amazing.
Huh?
Wow, wow. Thank you for the major pump up, and man, we love Dean. We love what we're doing, and we love that you come out to the shows. And obviously, I had a chance to come and check out your classic car storage, and wow, what you have is pretty amazing. And man, I was just blessed to just be able to go and check out your spot.
Well, felt the other way around, my friend. When you're doing your thing in the car scene, like I'm just a storage guy with a couple of buildings, right? And the cars are pretty epic. But being able to spend time with guys like you and Sean Davis from Autotopia LA, and now Jason Week to Wicked and Hack and all the guys, my eyes are wide open about what's going on and how it happened in the car scene. So it's really great to have you on today because we're going to dive into that stuff and help others that are on the steep part of the learning curve with me.
And it's really cool because I mean, of recent, you were already a part of the fabric of the automotive community, and now you're just tightly woven into the community with Autotopia LA coming. You got your podcast. I've been able to see you launch the podcast. You crushed it on social media. It's been really cool to see all the stuff that you've got going on, and then you coming out again, learning different things and connecting with different people. And it's been a good ride since, and we've only known each other for what, 6 months now?
I look back, I think it was May when I met you here at SoCal. So springtime, maybe 9 months ago, right? Maybe
Right.
8. Crazy.
Yeah, it's been a short time, and like you said, on the learning curve, man, you've been crushing it. You've been
Oh,
really
thanks.
doing a great job, and I love all the stuff that you've been doing. So yeah,
That's,
thank you for having me on the show.
hey, man, that's what makes you so great is I'm feeling better just hosting this podcast, and we haven't even got started. No, thanks, man. That telling you what, when it comes from you, that's the greatest reward for doing what we do, and we spend a lot of time doing it. I bump into Patrick from Keystone Operations, and man, that guy, he is everywhere, and I can't go anywhere without bumping into him. And you just look at the effort that he puts in, just as one example of what it takes to get to the level of success that he's got. And I know personally now, what it takes to be as successful as you are in social marketing. So that's just one data point for me.
Well, we couldn't do the well if we're talking about the cruise, we couldn't do it without Jason, and Patrick Wagenbrenner, Jason Scudeleri, Patrick Wagenbrenner, Hector Valdez. We've got a whole host of other guys that help. Obviously from Sean Davis to the guys at Chevelle Factory, Nick Vasquez. Chris Marichal, Vicious Stang, Devious Stang, Paul, Kyle. I mean, it's just the list goes on. Matt Black. There's probably 50 to 100 people that are key influencers to really make the cruise what the cruise is. Yourself. There's just a lot of people that make the cruise happen. So I mean, we can't toot our own horn because there's a lot of tooting to do.
Yeah, that's a great point. It's a community effort. I was talking to Patrick. We were, moonlighting at another show. We also hang out at South County Carson Coffee down in San Clemente. I bumped into him on Saturday, and we were talking. He says, those guys with the Chevelles, man, they love us because we're out there getting a lot of publicity and spotlight on their rides and their builds, and they absolutely appreciate it and love it. So whenever I do a post from a show like that or the quarantine cruise, those guys are so thankful because we can do things that they can't do for themselves. And when you're helping other guys, get the word out or, pimp their ride, if you will, for lack of a better definition, it's a good feeling, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, it's really cool when you build a car and someone else showcases it. If someone appears, if the Busa Nova appears on Autotopia LA, man, that's a big accomplishment for me, right?
Right.
Or if it appears in all Chevy Performance or in on your episodes, man, it's good for everybody. It's good for me. It's good for my sponsors. It's good for the community. And again, I'm excited about me personally having a build and then me being a part of building the community because it's all about the community.
I love that word. So I want to touch on a part of your background just a little bit. The other day, you informed me that you spent some of your formative years, about 8 years, working for Lucas Oil, and you were if I got it right, marketing director for the Lucas Off-Road Racing Series. How did that road racing experience as a marketing director set you up for what you're doing in your various car, social media, and marketing businesses right now? Was it pretty formative and informative?
Of course, and there was no never ending. Like we my job there at Lucas Oil was to get people to a place, whether it was marketing on Facebook, Instagram, Google, on TV, right? Buying ads on TV, or even radio ads, right? Or even doing special promos, whether it be at SEMA, some off-road shows or whatever it may be, or even working with different influencers. My job was almost identical to what we're doing now.
Okay.
And it was really awesome to be able to do that job there at Lucas Oil. I started from the ground up. If you were to say I was, my time there, it started as a volunteer pretty much, all the way to being the marketing director for the Lucas Oil Off-Road Racing Series. And it was a really great ride. I worked my butt off there, and we built up their social to be the biggest off-road social on the planet. And in the meanwhile, as a hobby, I was able to build up Muscle Kings as a fun deal because, again, I wanted to do something fun, and I've always been into classic American muscle cars, and that's where the Muscle Kings thing came in.
No kidding. Well, isn't it amazing how these building blocks early in our career set us up for success and things that maybe we're more passionate about, and we don't really reflect on those too often, but without them, where you are today wouldn't have happened without that amazing experience with Lucas Oil. Incredible.
Absolutely, it was all steps, stepping stones, right? And so, I tried my very best to help people, as many people as possible, whether it be a team, a brand, or just a person. I've always helped people, right? And me knowing, what, it's more likely going to come back, but if it doesn't, it doesn't, and I've helped somebody, right? That's enough for me. But if it comes back, it comes back. So, and it always comes back. Like me helping people, it always comes back, and it's not expected, but that's how I try to live.
Hey, so when you were doing this, marketing gig for Lucas Oil, towards the end there, had Instagram and YouTube already taken off and really began to shape, the car world the way it is today? Or was it in its formative years? And who are these early people that, like Sean, he's been doing this for, I don't know, 5 or 6 years, and he's a YouTube monster. And, there's other people that are pretty large out there. I mentioned Patrick, of course, yourself, you're one of the big guns out there. But when did this really happen? And did you have a aha moment as you were doing your social media thing going, holy crap, look what's happening?
Yeah, we've been doing social media since 2006. So all the way back from MySpace and then going into Facebook and then going into Instagram. So we've been doing social media for many years, right? So, I mean, what is that? You know, 15 years?
16 years, yeah, 17.
So it's nothing new for us. And it just changes, it evolves, right? And that's all it is an evolution. But some of the criteria are the same. So yeah, building a community, right? Putting out great content. I mean, stuff that I preached for a long time. Put out great content, right? And be regular, right? Don't put out a piece of content and then wait 6 months and then put out another piece of content and expect to grow. I mean, it's just common knowledge. If you utilize your common knowledge, and you'll figure it out.
It was funny. It makes me think when you talk like that. Some of us are, faith oriented or, religious or believe in God. So one of the key words about, that whole dynamic of life is faith, right? And so I think what you're almost suggesting is you've got to put in the work and be consistent before you'll get rewarded. And a lot of people, after a couple of weeks, find, hey, this is a lot of work, and this isn't a, do it for a couple of weeks, see how it works, and if we don't like it, forget about it. We're talking about a commitment of many years to really get to a point where you're making a significant impact.
Yeah, what you put in is what you get out. At the end of the day, that holds true on almost everything.
Right.
If you put in low work in your business now, what are you going to get? You're going to get low rewards, right? So if you put in heavy work, you're going to get big rewards, right? If you are chasing after a really hot girl and you're young, right, and you put in no work, more likely you're not going to get rewarded. You put in the work, you're going to get, you're going to get rewarded. You're going to build a car, you put in low work, you're going to get rewarded with a really nice car, right? So again, just putting in the sweat equity, and then there's more to it past that. As far as if you want to grow any faster, then you add monetary dollars behind it. And again, making content or creating content is not free. It's going to take time. It's going to take money. You may need a videographer, and you may need to spend money to have him do the videos, unless you want to take the time to learn it yourself. And now it's just time, right? So
yeah. So one of the things that I wanted to go back to, and we'll get back to more of this social media stuff because it's so integral to what you do as a career and how we grow our businesses and how we kind of engage the community. I think it's all intertwined. I'm working 7 days a week, but I don't know when I'm having fun or when I'm working anymore. And so to me, that's the ultimate. But Quarantine Cruise fits into that strange dynamic where fun part, our life intersects with work, and it doesn't feel like work. So I've been to the seven or so shows now of the 11 that you guys have hosted, and I'm blown away by the organic growth of that show. I think it's the biggest recurring one-day cruise in the country, if I'm not mistaken. But what do you attribute the incredible participation and the success to? If you had, I'm sure there's 3 or 4 key elements, but what is it about Quarantine Cruise? I mean, it's blown up.
So, right? Going back to your question, what do we attribute the success to? So one, we've been giving back, right? The cruise started off with 30 cars, right? And then it went to 125 cars. And just to go back, Patrick originally said, "Hey, Ken, man, I'd love for you to come down and be a part of this cruise," which it was Jason, Heck, and Patrick created, right? They created this cruise, and they said, "Hey, we'd love for you to come down to this cruise," and so from there, the first 2 cruises I didn't go to, and that we were right in the heat of the pandemic, and that was like in March, right?
Yep.
Pandemic was going really hard, and people were super scared, and I'm not gonna lie. I mean, wife had me freaked out, and I was like, man, we ain't going nowhere. And then uh, come March, this the second cruise I went to that had 125 cars. I went down there. Sean Davis was there, and I was thinking, okay, well, this is really awesome. These guys are doing something cool, getting people out of the house. And by that time, I was already sick of being in the house. I mean, after a week of being in the house, man, I'm already like, pulling my hair out. But obviously, I wanted to be safe, so I went down there, had my mask on, and kept my distance or whatever, and just made sure that I was safe. And so with that being said, we connect and we're like, okay, um, Patrick, he said, hey, I want you to be a part of it. And I said, okay, man, I'm willing to, join and be a part of it. Got on a call with Heck and Jason. They agreed, hey, yeah, let's bring Ken in. And then from there, um, we said, okay, let's find a new location. Okay, we're going to go ahead and put together a program to really promote this. I put together another flyer, or we put together as a team another flyer, and then when we put the flyer together, we integrated the text in to find the location, and did it similar to like how the raves were. It's like, hey, you gotta, text in to find out where we're gonna be, and we didn't give any information out. The only thing we said is, hey, this is the cruise, this is the date, we're not going to tell you where it's at until you give us a little piece of information. And so from there, we basically collected I want to say 2,000 phone numbers, or maybe it was 1,000 phone numbers. I think that's what it might have been. Um, and well, no, actually, it was less than that. It was 500 numbers because we had 500 people come. So the very next cruise, we had 500 numbers, right? Text
Yep.
in, and we had 500 people meet at the Westminster Mall. And the
So would you
cruise,
do a mass text or something? Or
and we did a mass text out to everyone and said, hey, be here at this time. This is what we're doing. And at that cruise, we had two Koenigsegg's, we had friggin' a whole bunch of, muscle cars, and it was outrageous. So we had that 500, person cruise. I believe Chris brought Vicious down, and it was pretty awesome. Like it went, it accelerated real quick. Sean put his effort into coming down. I want to say Nick Vasquez, I think, came down to that one right there. And we had, really high end cars. So when we did that show, because of Vicious, because of this car and that car, the premier cars that came,
right.
um, the show was a hit, right? We had cars that never showed up. We had Lip Zinc, he came down with his big wheel Chevelle. Like you don't see, we had cars that you don't see normally on the streets, right?
That's that was one of the things I wanted to mention to you, and um, I go to a lot of car shows as you do, and it's kind of saying seen it, seen it, seen it, seen it. But when you get to Quarantine Cruise, you go, oh my god, what a build! Like you get close to Speed Core at that last one, or not even that, just guys coming down all the way from Northern California with crazy muscle car builds, way over the top stuff I've never seen. So, how do you attract these, unicorns out there in the car fab scene that, like you said, you don't see on the street?
Well, I mean, between Patrick, right? So Patrick and Jason, they're well connected within the car community. I know a few people, through the social, program that I have, the pages we have. And with that, it was just a quick ask. Hey, we're doing an event. You want to cruise down? And obviously, they know the power when they come down and they get featured on the pages, whether it be on Keystone, whether it be on Classics Daily or whatever page. They know that they're going to get added exposure. You can't guarantee that at Good Guys or none of the other car shows. Like,
No.
At our shows, if you got a really nice car, more likely you're going to get added social exposure, and nobody really can offer that. And the guys, Jason, Patrick, and Heck really created something ingenious by, um, we're, 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 we're almost doing two cars and coffees. You're starting at one location, right? Everyone's hanging out. From
Right.
there, everyone gets on the road, so everyone gets to drive their car, get to the next location, and hang out again. So if you think about it, two cars and coffees with the drive in between, why do these guys drive their cars? Or why do they buy their cars or build their cars to drive their cars, right? And they can't do that at a cars and coffee, really. They can't do that at a car show. That's not what they're doing. They're going to the car show, they're setting up, they're sitting in their lawn chair, and they're hanging out all day. So that model is I can't say it's dead, but that model is difficult.
Well, that was another thing I feel strongly about. I wonder, sometimes significant events that are outside of control, like a pandemic, change things forever. Buildings used to hold corporate offices, and maybe in the future, a lot of those corporate offices are gone for good, and people are going to be working from home virtually. But maybe the same thing is true for the car show. Maybe the cruise is back. When I was a kid, what we did on Saturday night was cruise Maine and Walnut Creek. That's what we did. So here we are. We're going kind of back to our roots, but it's much more of a visceral, much more engaging thing because you get to see the car in its elements, whereas it's so static at the car show, right? And then, you know, everybody's got to be careful not to, make too much noise or do anything stupid. And, we still have to worry about that with quarantine crews, right? But I think that's better experience for those people that want to see other people's cars. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and Dean, just think about this, right? Um, Building content. You built content on the SoCal page.
Right.
What's more exciting, the static shot of the car or it moving and you're listening to it, right? What's more exciting to you, and what gets more engagement on your page?
Yeah. The louder, the better. And the more interesting the car is as it moves, the more, eyeballs it catches, right? I mean, period. Like,
Absolutely.
I don't know, a perfect example of that is Vicious Mustang. You put that car on your page, my page, anybody's page, and despite the fact that it's quite a bit out there, people it's so arresting. Now we got Devious. It's the same thing. It stops you in your tracks is the best way to put it. A
Well,
vehicle like that moving.
yeah, this is the thing, right? Devious. It's a $250,000 Mustang. Chris is driving it to the events. Most people that own a $250,000 car, they park them and they no one sees them, right?
Yeah.
Or they'll trailer them to a show and it'll just stay there, right? And then he elevates it and he brings Vicious, which comes in and just really disrupts everything. People are like, "Holy, what is that?"
Yeah.
And when he comes in, he just basically he just is a showstopper, right? I mean, that term showstopper applies to Vicious Mustang. Anywhere,
He's such a great guy too. Well,
yeah.
but yeah, it's a great point. It's a showstopper.
So yeah, I mean, as far as the quarantine cruise, man, it's really just the cars that come, the people that are involved, right? The social media that we push out. There's just so many elements. Guys like you, Sean, right? Sean's a great example of why the cruise is successful. Sean's pulled out around 30 cars out of the quarantine cruise to feature on Autotopia LA. So that being said, somebody coming to the quarantine cruise, they may get picked
Yeah.
to go onto the channel. And again, Sean's not going to any other shows. And again, there's nothing against all the other shows because they do a great job, and we need every single show out there. But
Absolutely.
Sean is going to the quarantine cruise, and that's the major source right now for grabbing content for his channel, or he's grabbing it directly on Instagram or Facebook or through referrals. But again, that's a massive deal for us, and man, I can't thank that team enough.
Yeah, there's something else. Paul and Kyle and Chris and Sean. They're here at my shop. They were here this week, and they'll be here next week. And it's just super professional, but really down to earth and a lot of fun. They love what they're doing, and I think that's part of it too. It's just, you got to love smelling like unburnt hydrocarbons, and blowing out your ears, and just geeking out on the design and the build. And so that's what we do, man. And I think it's all about that. So hey, tell me a little bit more about the cruise, quarantine cruise. You pretty much have got it set up. You got a schedule now, right, for the rest of the year. Tell us where it starts and where it ends up. I know I love the flight center where it ends up, but is it going to be pretty consistent throughout the year? Is it going to stay on that schedule that you publish?
Well, this event, we're not going back to flight. I'm not sure if we're gonna go back to flight anytime soon, but we've got another location that we're gonna have for our ending spot, but our beginning spot will be SoCo, and
Okay, still? Okay, great.
we may change that, but again, always trying to keep it fresh and fun. And SoCo really works for us as a starting location. And then from there, again, just having the cruise and being able to cruise to another location is great. So I can't tell you where the ending location is, but we will next Friday. So
Hey, you know what? At first, I was a little put off by that. But then I felt like there's this anticipation that builds. Like, it's almost like, hey, wait for your surprise. You got to wait till Friday or, whatever, right? And so you get bombarded with all these texts. What's the text that everybody needs to text out? I don't want to screw it up. Is it
uh, text cruise at 21,000.
21,000?
Yeah, and we do that on purpose, and it's funny. We get all kinds of texts. Why can't you tell us where it's gonna be? Because we're not. We'll tell you when we tell you.
Right on. Hey, so what's next for the quarantine cruise? So everybody out there, 21,000 cruise, and make sure you're staying up to a date and be ready to participate. It'll blow your mind if you haven't been going. There's no show like it. I've never seen and been a part of anything that gets close. So,
I mean, we're really stoked that you're out there, and it's a good time, and definitely, one of our mottos is connect with somebody, right? And we want people to connect. We have the industry there, whether it was, it's, all kind Cam from Optima, is out there. I've seen Mike from Willwood come out. We've seen, Jim from CPP come out, and the industry insiders are at our events, and it's good to have them cruise their cars, and they're there, not on work, but to enjoy.
yeah. Well, you had Jimmy Shine out there at the last one, right?
Right, Jimmy Shine, man, he's freaking awesome. He's gonna come back out. He says he might be bringing some friends out, and yeah, and he knows everybody.
He
So
does. He knows everybody. So anything exciting that you want to announce for Quarantine Cruise or just 21,000 for now and get ready for the next one, which is coming up a week from Sunday or yes, week from this Sunday, right?
yeah, I mean, just come out with no expectations, and come out with a great attitude, and because everyone else is there to basically enjoy the love of cars, and we're out there for a good time.
And the one thing that's obvious is like people get a little carried away. They think it's an opportunity to do a smoke show or you know blow their pipes out. And, that's not that's something that could impact this show like other shows. And so we got to find this right balance, right? And that's always tricky for Cars and Coffee. But you at Quarantine Cruise, we're going to deal with the same thing. So we need people to kind of chill out while they're there, right? And recover.
Yeah, I appreciate you bringing that up, Dean. I mean, at our last show, we had a couple a newer Silverado, and it was a CTSV, and it's burning out. And man, I get it. Everybody loves a burnout, and this is the thing: everybody there can burn out, right? Everyone can, but
Nobody's impressed.
right? There's a lot. Yeah, I mean, the guy next to you may have 1,000 horsepower. He's not burning out. The next guy might have 1,500 horsepower. He's not burning out, right? So don't burn out. No one's there to burn out and just burn the spot. So at the end of the day, we're there to have a good time, show your cars, meet people, and again, learn something. And it's not a burnout session. And thank you, Dean, for bringing that up.
Well, we want to, it's so important to maintain this delicate balance with the community that we're an integral part of, whether it's the flight center, or SoCo. I mean, they're kind of our hosts. And so we got to remember that these hosts only have so much patience for nonsense. And so, I think it's a good message to get out there.
Yeah, not a lot of people know, but Jason and myself and Heck, we hired a power washer to go to flight, and we were there for 8 hours. We were scrubbing. We had a basically a steel broom, that was steel bristle broom that was scrubbing and power washing, and you know,
Oh,
trying to get all the burnout marks out. And again, they're just gonna ruin it for everybody. Not ruin it for only me and us, but they're gonna ruin the shows for everybody. So when
Yeah, right on.
people burn out and do stuff like that, all they're doing is just they're hurting the community.
Yeah, right. Just for 1 minute or 20 seconds of Instagram fame. Ridiculous. Hey, so I want to take a second here and thank one of our awesome sponsors, Ken. Are you looking for a smarter way to charge your car's battery? Our friends at CTEK lead the way in the care and maintenance of vehicle batteries. CTEK's unparalleled knowledge and continuous investment in innovation means they offer high quality, reliable chargers that are effective, easy to use, and most importantly, safe for the user and their car's electric system. The quality of CTEK's products make them the trusted company of the world's most recognizable car brands. Get yours today at smartercharger.com and type in the code SoCal, all caps, at checkout and get a 10% discount on all CTEK products.
And speaking of CTEK, uh, this year or last, it was actually last year. Was it this year? No, last year. Sorry, we're already in 21. So in 2020, Sean Davis, Paul, and Sean Lee had a chance to go to CTEK, right, and see their operation. They're first class. I mean, they put in everything into their chargers. So, I mean, I fully recommend the CTEK product. The staff there is amazing. Their whole program is A level.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if anybody is looking for a charger, I would recommend CTEK over anything because again, they put in all the technology into their charger, and they're OE for like almost every brand out there. So,
Incredible. Yeah. Every time I get a brand new something and people show up storing a car with me, a SoCal Classic, out of the trunk comes a OEM, sometimes it's branded Mercedes or whatever, but it's always CTEK. And
always
as a
CTEK.
cool cat, we see him coming out to quarantine cruise. I caught him over at Flight Center one day. He was pimping my SoCal Classic hat. He's a great guy. So anybody wants to learn more about CTEK, we got a local rep here in Santa Barbara, awesome dude. So check him out.
That's Brian, right?
Yeah, he's awesome. What a dude.
Great dude, and yeah, like I said, the CTEK brand is great, and I wouldn't recommend any other brand. And yeah, good stuff. I'm glad you linked up with those guys because
They're great.
yeah,
Yeah, I want to shift gears just a little bit, get back to what we were talking about earlier, social media. I hate to use the term social media influencer and, motivator for the car world. Maybe it's just part of who you are. It comes naturally. You've got this classics daily that's up to, 1.7 million, which is ridiculous for the rest of us. We're like, how does that happen? Um, is it true or is it false that you know what your followers need and you feed them what they need, or do you feed them what they tell you they want? I'm asking that question because Apple's such a leader and so innovative in their product line that they pretty much create things and tell us that we need these things. And then we're like, yeah, we do. And then all of a sudden we're convinced that we can't live without it. So is it both where you kind of get going and then you get this feedback? Because I mean, it's as dynamic as anything, right? Social media. So kind of tell me a little bit about that.
on the pages, right? I post what I like, and some of the stuff is of what the audience likes too, and but it's my it's like a painter, right? You're painting your vision, and so and we I usually post what's my vision. And the classic car, muscle car, hot rod world is big. When you like pro street, pro touring, you like what do you like? You like gassers? Do you just like are you a purist and only like classics, right? So for me, I'm more of a pro touring, a little bit of pro street, and that's what we post. So and that's what we consider classics daily. But the cars are again, heavily modified, and for me, that's what we're projecting is classics daily. But classics daily can be anything.
I
Um,
do, I'm sorry to interrupt. I really just think the corollary of a painter is perfect. The painter does what he's passionate about and then gets the feedback and then probably does more of that, but he's not necessarily going to stray from doing, sculptures if he's into oil paintings, right?
Right, right. So
Love it.
with that, there's things that we know as far as and I love what you're saying. So again, as far as the influencer, all I'm doing is posting what I like and what I think is good, right? So in my mind, and again, there may be some input over here, um, but yeah, that's everybody's version of classic or whatever they would post um, is their vision, right? And I've got my vision. The beauty is Instagram, it doesn't cost any money. So if you have a different vision, build your own page, and
Right.
if you don't like what I post, don't follow me, and so, but please follow me because I would really like everyone to follow and see what's
I think
going on.
everybody
So,
does follow you.
what's that?
I think everybody does follow if you want.
I don't know if everyone does, but it's
So, but
great.
Muscle King's a little different than Classics Daily in that it seems like, and again, I may be a little bit off on this, but you launched Muscle Kings, and next thing you know, you started saying, wait a minute, this is a brand. And all of a sudden now you're doing, at some point you started doing events, of course,
Right.
merchandise. And then next thing you do, you're doing concerts. So tell us how sometimes a page or social media platform can evolve into a branded house. Or it's crazy.
I mean, it's just like anything. Like, let's go back to when we were kids, right? Let's call it teens. Every teen wants to make their own T-shirt line,
Yep.
right? And it's all about the voice of being able to distribute your vision, right? So let's go ahead and say Billabong. That started as an idea, right, with some people, and there grew, or Volcom, or any of these other brands, right? So, and then it started growing and growing. So Muscle Kings, the way I thought was, you think of American muscle. You think, let's go ahead and go back surfing, right? You got Volcom, Billabong,
Yep.
Quicksilver, Von Zipper, all these different brands that are all about surfing, the lifestyle.
Yep.
Then you think moto, you got Fox and Shift, and any of these other moto brands, Troy Lee Designs, and that's the moto brand. And you think ball and stick, right? If you got Under Armour, you got Nike, you relate that guy as a ball and stick, like, hey, he's playing football, baseball, hockey, or something, right? So with American Muscle, there's nothing. There's no brands. Ford, Dodge, Chevy, that's American Muscle, right? That's the brands, but they're automotive brands, right? They're not lifestyle brands. So I was like, okay, well, we should build this into a brand. And I connected with a guy. His name was John Oakes, and we basically came together and he said, hey, let's turn this into a car show and concert. And his vision was grand. And I was like, okay, then we came together and said, hey, this is what we'll do. And we ended up building a car show and concert. And it was massive. We did one in Norco, and we had 10,000 people there. And, we had a car show. We had Dan and Shay, a big concert, and Rodney Atkins and some other, musicians, a massive beer garden. But that was a massive team. And man, I got to, John Oakes and his, and the team really put a bunch of effort into making that happen. So with that, we ended up doing some more car show and concerts. And then um, the pandemic hit, right? Things started happening. So right now, like the Muscle King stuff has been on hold for a while until we can make some stuff happen. But we've been focusing on organic cruises, and that don't take hundreds of thousands of dollars to make happen, right? The cruises, they're only thousands of dollars, not hundreds of thousands.
Right. Well, I love this notion of virtual lifestyle business. And until you start doing events or things that, that are very labor intensive. But when I say virtual, I mean, there's no building, right? There's no quote unquote singular product. It conveys a lifestyle, muscle came. You know what I mean? So, and I think that's what people relate to when they put on that, in the old days, you said Billabong. I mean, that's a classic, right? I had to have that stuff. I wasn't a surfer, right? But I wanted to be associated with it. So I
You
think,
want to live the lifestyle, right?
yeah.
And you wear the brands
Like,
to associate yourself with the lifestyle.
so, when folks are serious about building out their social media presence in general, they're out there posting away, and they made the commitment. Kind of like me, or others that they want to be Sean or yourself or Patrick when they grow up, right? At some point, do they need to promote, and pay for promotions with, the Instagrams and the Facebooks and the YouTubes? Or can they expect to get where they're going by just intense effort? Or is it a little bit of both? What's your advice for folks out there that are kind of in their early stages of building out this social media platforms, if you will?
Well, first of all, getting organized, right? Getting organized, having a plan or a vision would be one. That costs $0, right? What is your vision? Um, and then always beta testing, right? Hey, and when you build a page, and I know you do it, Dean, and you can relate. You'll test by posting content and saying, "Oh man, that did this right here," or posting content and that did this. Wow, and continuing to post great content or that type of content, right? So it's always
Okay.
always a test session. It's always beta testing, A/B testing, right? Um, I would say that you know um, taking advice, right? At the end of the day, don't reinvent the wheel. Don't, I mean, until you get it figured out, but you'll reinvent the wheel a little bit by testing. So, there's probably some advice that I had chatted with you about months ago, and you may have been like, I'm not sure. And then it rang true, and you're like, now I see what he meant by that, right? So yeah, and then you surround yourself with great people. You surround yourself with Sean Davis, right? And you coming out to the cruise with Patrick, and those guys are super knowledgeable. Chris Marichal and Paul, Kyle, all those guys are super knowledgeable. So just surround yourself and ask questions.
I
So
think I think that's some of the best advice right there, because like one day I was talking to Sean, we're on the phone. I'm like, Sean, my posts suck, blah, blah, blah. It's like, you know what? Don't do all this so frequently. He said, sometimes when you got good momentum on something from a couple of days ago, and then you post something else, it whacks the momentum on something that's really blowing up. But then, the new post, won't get much love. So, you know, it's great to pick up the phone and have people in your network that are experts at it, that are willing to give you a little piece of advice. So I think what you're saying is so true. Surround yourself with people that have been there, done that, and then have your ears open.
there you go. And another thing too is engage with the people, right? And the thing the advice I tell people is, and this is what I mean. You post something on Instagram, right?
Yeah.
And you get 3 comments on there. Respond to the comments, right? Right? All 3 of them. Now you've got 6 comments. If you got 10 comments and you respond to all of them, you've got 20 comments, right? And people react to content that has engagement. If you're scrolling through Instagram and you see something that's cool, but it has 0 comments on there, more than likely you're not going to comment on there. But if you're scrolling through and you see it has 74 comments on there, you're going to stop, you're going to look, you're probably going to read some comments, and then you're probably going to comment.
Absolutely, yeah. It's like jet fuel. You pour it in, and it keeps burning. You're like, oh my god, I got to get involved. What's going on over here? You can't take your eyes off it. So, all right, that's great advice. Hope people are paying close attention. You're getting advice from one of the best social media influencers that I know of. You are the best. So,
I don't know about that, man. I'm just doing it out here and having a good time, man. Just surrounding myself with guys like you.
I think it's the opposite. But hey, let me give another shout out to one of our other sponsors, Wicked Mobile Auto Detailing. Wicked's a luxury mobile detailing, paint restoration, and paint protection service right here in sunny Southern California. They specialize in high-end paint correction, self-healing ceramic, and of course, graphene coatings, which are all the rage, clear bra, and many other services. Check out their YouTube channel, Wicked Automotive Detailing, and you can learn a few things out there on their great page and see their professionalism, their perfection, and unbeatable customer service, which you can always expect from a Wicked service. Contact them at 617-901-1417 and give your car the devilish good looks it deserves.
Yeah, text me their phone number. I might have to use them. I think I need a clear bra, or I'm gonna need some ceramic coat on the Boosted Nova.
Awesome. Consider it done. Sam's a great guy. I'll throw him your way.
I'm gonna be driving that thing, so yeah.
Hey, that's the next thing I want to talk about, man. You're like a mind reader. What's the deal? You want to kick this into overdrive, so 1,000 horsepower plus 71 Nova, boosted Nova. What's going on there, man? People need to know.
Man, it's funny. I've had the Nova for around 3 years, and we've got a whole host of sponsors. Got to give a shout out to, and from the guys at Detroit Speed to Customs by Lopez to BASF that gifted me the paint, the product. Detroit Speed, Budnick wheels, Toyo tires, Bear brakes, Holley. They just sent me a 12.3 LED screen. Man, it's Curry Enterprises. I got the Turn 9 rear end, Magnuson supercharger. Eddie Motorsports hooked me up with pretty much all the billet, my drive and all my interior billet, my hood hinges, trunk hinges, Vintage Air. They took care of me on the AC system. Locar gave me a really sick shifter. DeBerti gave me a insane, you'll see it, the Samurai Hoon handle, right? And Dapper Light.
Is that a sequential shifter you got on there?
No, I got a 4L80 on it, but yeah, so.
Hey, but the builder of this thing is RJ Fabrication, right? Aren't they the shop that's?
Yep. So Rob Lindsay from RJ Fabrication, he's a classic car builder as well as an incredible off-road trophy truck, luxury pre-runner builder, and he builds $500,000 pre-runners to $500,000 muscle cars, and I can't believe that I've been trying to get the Nova into the shop for years, and now we're on the home run of it done.
Dude, so are you gonna roll her out at SEMA? Are you not gonna wait? Is there a plan to launch this thing, or is it super secret and you'd have to come?
No, it's not secret at all, and we've been pushing it out on social for a long time, and we've been showing photos, so no embargoing of the photos. One of the good things is crazy. So a couple years back, probably a year and a half back, I did a digital rendering. I don't know if you've seen it on our.
I have. Is that the 3D one or?
Yep, the 3D rendering. So this is pretty much before anybody really did any renderings like that for their cars, and now like everybody's doing it, and it's pretty awesome because it
looks real. When I first saw it, I didn't think it was a rendering. I thought it was real.
Yeah, so that rendering on Detroit Speed's Facebook is a #1 video on their Facebook. It had 4.5 million views.
You're kidding.
Or actually 4.9 million views and 81,000 shares. It's pretty insane. It's again, it's their highest viewed video on their page. And then same with Dapper Lighting, they posted the video and it was the highest liked photo on their page, and it's seeing some incredible love. And yeah, I'm pretty excited. Going back to the list of stuff, TMI, they're basically going to do our interior. So we're at the stage of the plumbing is getting done. And then from there, we're going to take it to Jason Scudellari. He's going to do the wiring. And then from there, it's going to get the interior by TMI. And, it's really cool. I've never had something this nice. All the way down to the guys at High Desert Fasteners put 12-point bolts. And I've got, basically 12 points on there. And I'm doing a trimless glass from AM Hot Rod Glass. So if when you see like the Novas, they have the chrome trim around the outside. Well, I'm not going to have any trim on the windshield, so the front or back window, and also just like the guys at Aeromotive hooked some stuff up, and CTEK, they gave me some chargers. Big Kid Blocks, they basically took care of Ricardo Lopez and their team with these blocks, these standing blocks. They're really long and flexible, and they're just so my body is really straight because of that. Um, Man, and yeah, going back to Ricardo and the paint and body, it's first class. I mean, it's going to be a top level paint job on that thing, and that's not what I was expecting. I told Ricardo, hey, you know what? I just want like originally I was like, I just wanted to get by. I just wanted to be cool, and he's like,
Yeah, give me a matte black or something, right?
yeah. He's like, Ken, I don't do any work like that, man. I can't do it. I told him, hey, I want like a 6 or 7. He's like, and when we originally met, and then he told me, Ken, I don't do 6 or 7s.
Yeah, if you're at Customs by Lopez, there's only 9.5 and up going on.
Right?
I've seen his rides, man. Like that stuff looks like it's still wet after a couple of years. Incredible. Yeah. Well, I can't wait. I think everybody else can't wait. Get ready to be less famous than your car. I guess that's the only thing I could say. Like your car is pretty epic out there already, and it hasn't even seen the light of day. Amazing.
Yeah. So, pretty excited about it. Pretty pumped up about the car, and again, it's been a long road, and we're finally seeing the light to being complete. Hopefully we're 3 to 4 months out from being completed, and yeah, I mean, he just thinking about like Patrick at Keystone. He was even a major part of the Booster Nova. He's the one actually that connected me to Ricardo at Customs by Lopez. And there's a really good story on Ricardo if you ever get a chance, because we were able to connect with Ricardo and help build him his social, and he was already an incredible person.
Awesome. Yeah, he's got great social chops out there. Hey, tell you what, one thing, it's kind of weird going to these cruises and not having a signature car or something that represents you. And I feel the same way. And I've had a 67 Cougar that I've been at the paint shop forever. And I finally just said, hey, man, I'm going to start spending all the money. And so my good friend Max over at South County Auto Body, he's kicking it into gear.
Nice.
We got it undercoated. We got all the mechanicals installed now. We're spraying out the engine, and we picked our color. We're ready to go. So hopefully, I can join you at the quarantine cruise and, be one of the boys. I kind of miss doing that, but at the same time, I'm there, because I've got to capture rich content. I need to make more connections and network and help other folks out. But same time, I don't know. I feel like I'm missing something without a car.
You know what? And it's only going to be sweeter when you do get the car, right?
Yeah.
But in the meantime, I know this guy Chris Ashton. He has a green Mustang that's stored down there, and SoCal Classics that maybe you should hit him up and take that thing out. He doesn't drive it very much.
You mean you're talking about Ruffian?
Man.
Again, that's an example of a car that's more famous than the guy who built it. No, that Ruffian. Okay. Well, Chris has encouraged me a couple of times before, and he's such a sweet guy. And he's like, "Yeah, take my car, go to the show."
No way, dude.
He's done that a couple of times, man.
What are you waiting for?
I don't know. I gotta stop being a wimp and get going. Right? I'm hearing you. I'm feeling you. I'm on it. Hey, so let's touch a little bit on your company, Social Lab Media. We haven't talked much about that. You guys specialize in what, Facebook, Google, and Instagram marketing. Tell us, why are customers coming to you, and how do you help them achieve their marketing and social media goals? I mean, it's so important. You can't do this unless you either got the time or you want to develop the expertise. Is that why people need you guys so much?
And it's crazy. We launched the brand in January 2020, right? And we're doing really well. And it's because I hate it, but the pandemic really helped us in a big way, right? Where brands they have to market themselves, and they needed to do it before the pandemic anyways. But when the pandemic hit, they absolutely needed us, right? So we specialize in Facebook, Instagram, Google marketing, remarketing, as well as YouTube marketing, right? And one of the things that we do is sell product, right, for people. And we turn the register. The money that they spend with us outweighs the money that we basically make for them. So it's a no-brainer, right? You spend X with us, you're gonna get XYZ for back. So
So 3x or 10x return on investment's not uncommon with with what people are investing with your company.
yeah, so it's easy. It's a no-brainer. And everybody's needs are different, right? Some people are they basically um they want branding, right? They want branding. They're getting ready to sell, right? Some people are like, hey, I need to sell right now, and we make that happen. And the beauty is with the right content, we could turn it on tomorrow. We could go like, hey, let's go ahead. You know what? Let's go ahead and start selling these tomorrow. You know what? Let's sell these koozies tomorrow. Let's go ahead and turn it on right now because these are hot. Let's go ahead and throw money at it. Here, I'm gonna take a photo of my iPhone, and we're gonna go ahead and well, I wouldn't do it with my iPhone, but we're gonna do a cool video around it, and yeah, let's go ahead and pop it up.
Oh, I was watching this podcaster who's hugely successful. He's got a radio show, and he basically hosts multiple podcasts. And one of the things he said about content is so powerful now, traditional advertising is irrelevant. He said, because if you're making content about your business and it's authentic, like, like we're doing down there at a car show, he said there's nothing as genuine and more focused than the content that you create. And then you cut that into advertising, if you will. Of course, you want to have a game plan. You don't want to just go willy-nilly. But he said, so content is kind of the new advertising. Um, and things are changed, right? Why go make a video when you can create content and purposefully for your company? Does that make some sense?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, content is key, right? And a genuine, organic, endorsement from somebody far outweighs 25 ads of the same deal, right? So, and even going back to, you're asking why it's successful, right? The quarantine cruise. Well, what's more powerful, right? Me telling you, hey, Dean, I had a fantastic time. The quarantine cruise was freaking amazing. Everyone was there. I seen Kevin, I seen Bobby, I seen Joe there. It was insane. I seen, Ruffian Mustang, I seen, Vicious Sting there. I seen, Grim 7.0. They were all there. And versus me serving you 5,000 ads, right? The one endorsement is going to outweigh the ads. Well, I don't know about 5,000, but because that's a lot of ads. So, even 5 or 10, right? So one endorsement outweighs, advertising. So, but again, you can only go so far with that endorsement, right? Your circle is this, right? With the advertising, on digital marketing, it could be this.
Yeah. And then you keep bringing up the word engagement. I think that's so integral to all of what you're doing at your company. In the old days, you used to think about print ads or things where the audience or your potential prospects couldn't engage you. Now you're getting this dialogue, right? And that's genuine and that's authentic. Whereas there's no connection in the past with print or some other static forms of advertising.
Right. No, definitely. Yeah. If you're a brand, right, and you're engaging your base, there's nothing better than that. So it's just like, let's go ahead and say, if let's call it 1990, right? Billabong, right? You bought some apparel, and that was your engagement, right? You bought the apparel, right, and you wore it.
Jackson, I bought it.
Right? But if you buy the apparel and you basically are tagging Billabong or you're going to their page, and if they respond back to you, you feel great, right? You're like, hey man, I'm investing in you, and man, you're giving me a thumbs up or whatever it may be. That's huge, right? So, or even being able to vent and saying, hey, your stuff is great or your stuff is sucks or whatever it may be. But you're able to at least communicate with these people, right? And that's where we had, zero communications to, messaging, instant message. What was the old messaging platform? AOL Messenger, right?
AOL, yeah, that's
right. That's the original. Then it went to like MySpace, where it was just people and some brands, and then going into Facebook, where brands were into Facebook, and then now Instagram, and like I said, You got Twitter and all the other forms of social media, Snapchat, it goes on, Twitch,
List is long. TikTok. That's
YouTube.
a good point, but you know what? I don't know. Maybe there's hope for old guys yet, but I may have to TikTok. Ryan's encouraging me, so it might have to happen. Hey, but for those of you that really need help out there, honestly, if you haven't engaged Ken and his team at Social Lab Media, you need to do it right away because time is of the essence. And if you don't have the expertise or the bandwidth or the capabilities, um, trust me, you'll be so happy you hooked up with Ken and that team. Give it some serious consideration.
Yeah, and my advice to the guys out there is, yeah, there's 50 social media platforms out there. Don't inundate yourself on figuring out, hey, when's the next one coming up, or what should I do? Which one should I do? Choose one, right? Whether it be Facebook or Instagram or Snapchat or any of the platforms. I mean, I choose Instagram because you can have a store behind it, or Facebook because you can sell product, right? So Instagram is pretty much my favorite of them all. And then focus on that. Make that the best you can make it, right? And then move to the next. And it's all about time management. If you only got X amount of time because you got kids, you like to go out dirt bike riding or working on your cars or whatever, you only got X amount of time. Don't don't saturate your time on all these. Don't divide all your time in 14 different ways. Just focus on one and do the best you can.
Great advice. Thanks. And one thing I love about you, Ken, you're always sharing, you're always giving back. Your hand's not out all the time, and you're super generous with your advice and your time. So thank you. I can't thank you enough. But people, please engage Ken, time permitting. So how do people learn more about you, Ken, or your interests like Social Lab Media or Muscle King Z, Classics Daily, if they want to connect with you?
I mean, I think the easiest way is just on Instagram. I'm just Ken on Instagram and just send me a DM. Um, and yeah, and then we can communicate from there. I mean, I think I guess that's my all-time favorite business card. Hit me on Ken on Instagram.
Yeah, yeah, it's not too many people have at their first name on Instagram. So, Ken, you obviously got started a few days before I did. But that's pretty cool, man. That's your business card. Anyway, I think that's a great way to wrap the show because it shows you how things have evolved. That at Ken is your business card, and that's how you get in touch with them. That's pretty cool. All right, Ken, I can't thank you enough. I know the folks that have joined us, hopefully enjoyed it as much as I did. That was an epic ride, my friend.
Awesome, Dean. Thank you for having me, and yeah, I appreciate that. And hopefully, we can have you on one of my live videos that we do.
Absolutely, man. I can't wait. Yeah, I love that format. So, yeah, that's another piece of content that they're rolling out at the Quarantine Cruise. People like Ken and some of the other partners have launched 10-minute segments for about an hour, once a week. And they bring in, high-end guests like Detroit Speed and, all the shops that he mentioned, really, that are involved in building Boosted Nova. So really cool content. Great. Love it. And for those of you watching us today, don't forget all of our episodes are on our YouTube channel, the SoCal Car Scene. Again, all separate words, where you can see videos of our awesome guests like Ken. You have to put up with me too. Please watch, follow, and most importantly, subscribe so you never miss an episode. If you prefer to listen to these episodes, please go to all your favorite podcast platforms like Apple iTunes, Stitcher, Buzzsprout, Google Play, and SoCal Car Storage /SoCal Car Scene page. Thanks so much for listening and watching. That's a wrap. Again, thank you, my friend.